This is just something that he did. He was not a photographer, he was a gunner. He was a tail gunner in B-25s. I think there was just a lot of people that had cameras and he'd just take some pictures and have pictures taken of him, and the ones he got, evidently he just collected them and brought them back with him. I think he just kind of wanted to document, what he was doing and where he'd been and everything that was going on. Which was good for me because it enabled me to look at things and prompt questions from him and try to get him to talk about stuff that he wasn't too fond of talking about. Some of these from my granddad are really cool too, because these are like 98 years old. A lot of these photos in here from World War I. His name was Elton Pope. My father's name was Edsel Pope. And Elton was in World War I. He got drafted and went with the Army Expeditionary Force to France and Germany and was a machine gunner. And he was a selective service officer for when my father would have been age to be drafted, and my father signed up early because he didn't want his dad to have to draft him. I never saw any of his stuff until he was 87 years old, because I asked my father what Gramps did. I knew he'd been in World War I, asked him what he did, and my dad says, I don't know, he never talks about it. And so I'd go over on Sunday afternoons and watch baseball with him when I was home from college. And one time he was 87 years old, and I said, Gramps, nobody knows what you did in World War I. I want to hear about it. And he looked at me and said, nobody has ever asked. 70 years later, nobody had ever asked him what he'd done. He went upstairs and got these photos and all this stuff and told me about everything where he'd been and what he did, and had a lot of real interesting stories. But that's kind of surprising. Everybody just assumed that he didn't want to talk about it. And he kind of said, well, I thought nobody really cared.